work with, and so was Walter. Walter was very funny. But Pat and I became very good friends, and we're both Irish, so of course I have a little scotch in mine too. Not a kind of drink, guys.
What do you remember as you saw the movie?
Well, very little actually. I remember that fight scene very well because we fought for about 2 or 3 days. Walter's a very big man, you know, and it got pretty violent there actually. You get carried away as an actor, and so you hit a little hard and he comes a little more and slaps you around. So I was very glad to get that scene over. It took about 3 days.
3 days just for that one scene?
Pulling the bookcase over on him was fun.
It looked like fun.
I remember quite a bit, actually. I think, you know, seeing it brings back more memories. The first thing I remember is when I went on the interview, and Michael Curtiz had hundreds of little girls, tall and short, all dark hair, to look like John Garfield's daughters. So there was a Klieg light, and Curtiz took this little girl and put her over by the Klieg light and said, "Stand there." So my mother, being a movie mother, said, "Sharon, go stand over by the light." I stood over by the light, and Curtiz came over, grabbed me, and I ended up getting the role. So.
He just picked you out immediately.
Well, because I'm standing in this part, he didn't remember which kid he put there. There were hundreds of them. He handled Garfield really well. And that Garfield, you know, originally came from the method, Stanislavski and all that kind of stuff. And then he left that. And he went into experience acting. You know, I've experienced, what did it feel like? And that's how he acted. I thought he was very real and genuine. And with Phil Staxter, they wrote some of those scenes extra that Garfield suggested, that Phil Staxter and John Garfield have more of an intimate, loving, caring relationship that I think made the movie a lot better, because you cared about them.
That certainly came through, the love and the relationship between the two of them.
And it wasn't in the original script. Garfield actually wrote Curtiz and said, in a very nice letter, "These are the things I think would help the picture," and that was one of the main things. So.
I thought Pat Neal was just exceptional in this movie, just outstanding.
I had interaction with her at Balboa. Towards the end there, she was there, and I got to meet her, of course, and watch her get her makeup and hair and all that. And she was just stunning. I mean, she was tall, statuesque, and gorgeous skin, and she had this fire about her, which at 8 I didn't know, but it was this charisma she had.
Yes.
And I was really impressed, you know, and in awe of her. And Phyllis Baxter was just the loveliest human being on the planet. I thought she was so brilliant in this film.
Yeah. Maiden Point. I thought it was just a tremendous, tremendous movie. Did you play?
Harry Cohn wanted me to sign a contract with and when I said no, that teed him off. You could tell by the billing that I got. And he decided to switch the shooting from New York, from the concrete jungle of New York, to on the lot. And that bothered me watching it. I hate that. I'm not knocking the film, but the film had a studio look to it.
It did.
Which is what Bob Aldrich certainly did not want. So they told us one day that Bob Aldrich was ill and Vincent Sherman was shooting, was going to, right. So we wouldn't lose a day. Suddenly, bam, through the door, here comes Bob Aldrich. You sons of bitches. Locked the door on me, and boy, he read the riot act. But be that as it may, it brought back a lot of memories seeing it.
I think the big audience, didn't you think that the picture held up well? I thought it was, I thought it held up terrific.
Well, that's terrific.
I was 8 and a half and when I got the job, and I wasn't trained at that point. I wound up just sort of starting to work, you know, as a kid. And learned a lot of, you know, just from being around it. I just didn't have the terminology down necessarily. But I think when you work with great people, you know, you just kind of pick up stuff. You can see by that group of actors, they were solid, you know, and so it's like singing a duet with somebody or something, you know, you just count on them to remember their part, you know.
How was Mervyn LeRoy as a director?
Basically, he allowed me to be a bad child, which of course in that era, my mother, you know, would hit me in the head if I talked back or whatever. That was allowed back then, you know. And so he gave me permission just to be flamboyant and right. I was allowed to be. He sort of did. I don't know if he actually said those words, but I got the message that Rhoda, no matter what, knew she was right. And that kind of show, you kind of see that. If you think about that, that's...
You see that?
Yes. I love the childish part of Rhoda, which makes it make sense somewhat. Because you think, how are those adults fooled by that hammy act, you know? That nice, incredibly nice child. You know, you'd worry if anybody's child came up and said, oh, I've got the sweetest mother. You know, you'd think, Lord, you know, whatever. But I like the scene with Henry Jones and when they're outdoing each other. You know, where well, I have a better thing than you do. And,
Patty's nothing like the part, you don't have to worry. It's nothing like Rhoda Denmark, but Rhoda was in you.
At this late date, though, I question that. Because all my life I tried to prove I was nothing like Rhoda. But now, you know, you get into the later years and you go through certain things and hormones change. I realized Rhoda was just in menopause.
The main thing I recall about this was Preston Foster, who was an absolutely delightful gentleman. He had been raised on the west side of New York, and he could talk in any dialect, any dialogue of anyone. And he just filled me full of wonderful Yiddish phrases. And I never had a better time in my life working with him. But the rest of it is an absolute blank in my mind. Alan Curtis. Yes, I remember him well. A very nice fellow, and couldn't have been more attractive. And he should have gone to prison. He was as crooked as a dog's hind leg. But I think for me, the joy of seeing this picture was seeing the wonderful faces of the character actors. Yeah. We don't have a chance now to see it. Under the studio system, they all had to have somebody who was always the sheriff, somebody was always the judge, somebody was always the one particular thing. And to see those glorious ugly faces. I still love pictures where men wear hats and they start drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning.
On the set or just in the movie?
Yes. Yeah, that too. Obviously, at the time I made this, my husband was in the department store business. We had department stores all over the United States. I must have been out of my gourd to have accepted a part like that. But it was a loan out. On a loan out, you did not have a say. So anyway, bless you all for coming to see
Thank
tour.
you for coming.